There was one dissent, Fed Governor Michelle Bowman preferring to cut by 25, but 11 voting in favor of 50.
If they do any research on EVs, that Tesla by far has the most reliable charging system.
Obviously have this event in early October where they're going to talk about the vision on the robo-taxis. We'll see what happens with Optimus, as well as that, are they going to actually come out with a smaller car?
All that and more. So let's get to it. Tesla stock is up in the pre-market damn near 3%, sitting at $233.90. Has something changed?
50 basis points, the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by 50 basis points to a new range of 4.75% to 5%. There was one dissent, Fed Governor Michelle Bowman preferring to cut by 25, but 11 voting in favor of 50. It might have been close. I'll come back to that at the end of this report. The statement says the committee will consider additional adjustments to policy based on the data, the outlook, and the balance of risk. The summary of economic projections saying an additional 50 is expected or forecast by the median Fed member for this year, for a total of 100 this year. That would bring the median down to 4.4%, or an additional 50 basis points from where we are right now. Another 100 basis points of cuts expected through next year, bringing the rate down to 3.4%. All of that a bit above where the market is priced. And the new long run rate would hit 2.9%. That's up a tick by the year 2026.
A 50 basis point cut. I was really expecting a 25 now and then maybe a 50 in the next go round, but 50 now sounds good. It would appear that rising employment has got the Fed a little in a tizzy. They want to manage that very well. Keeping the unemployment rate in check seems to be one of the Fed's main goals at the moment. Inflation has come down significantly. As a result, this should be a pretty significant boon in the upcoming months and year, as rates will continue to come down. The automotive sector, to include that of Tesla, is going to get some much deserved relief.
General Motors, I love the short-term price action here. It's deserved by the fundamentals, and it's going to benefit from rate cuts.
Ain't that the truth? Question is, how will they handle this tailwind?
Fascinating ways to see these companies partner together to this effect. How does it move forward the effort here in a year where there have been a lot of concerns about how quickly EVs can roll forward?
This should help GM with one of the biggest barriers that people have when they consider an EV, which is if they take a road trip, can they charge? I drive a lot from Detroit to Pittsburgh. On the Ohio Turnpike, there are plenty of Tesla chargers at all the service areas. There are others there, but they're not so visible. So people do see Tesla chargers at places like that. They also know, if they do any research on EVs, that Tesla by far has the most reliable charging system.
Ding, 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 ding! Tell him what he's won, Johnny! Your mother right. If you're building battery electric vehicles and you want to ease the tension of range anxiety, there is no better solution than slapping the NACS on the side of your vehicle and giving them access to the Tesla supercharger. It would appear that GM will be doing this in 2026. In the meantime, they're going to sell adapters for the NACS at $225 a pop. If I owned a Cadillac Lyriq or was one of the 2 people on the planet that owned an EV Hummer, I would be outraged by this and wonder why. Why, oh why, didn't I just go with Tesla in the first place?
So if you can plug a GM EV into that, hey, that's great. And look, this comes at a very opportune time for General Motors. They're ramping up production of the Equinox and Blazer EVs, which are their cheaper ones. So that could give those potential buyers access to charging.
This seems easy, right? You buy a adapter for $225. You find a Tesla charging station, I suppose. And how does this really meet the need at the end of the day? I mean, what are the complications that are still there?
Anyone who owns an EV, you quickly learn you download apps for a variety of chargers. They have different ones in Canada, different ones in different areas, because GM partners with about 9 different charging companies. There's ChargePoint, there's EVgo, there are others. But, EV owners, they have access to these apps. They have their credit cards loaded on them so they can automatically pay. In some cases with GM, it just works seamlessly with the car if you're charging it at some of their approved partners' chargers. But in this case, look, you just hook the adapter up when you plug the charge port, the charger into the charge port, and you start charging. And you can get, variously reported, but you're looking at like, you can get from 20% to 80% in, say, 30 minutes. That's a rough estimate. It varies by EV, but you're getting a pretty good top up in a short period of time if you're out on a road trip and you need to stop, grab lunch, and you come back and you got a pretty good level of charge.
20 seconds here, David. Is this EV boom going to make driving manual obsolete?
Driving manual is almost obsolete except for Luddites like me and performance geeks and people who own Jeep Wranglers. So yeah, it'll usher in quickly something that's already been happening unfortunately, for quite a while.
Ain't that the truth? Hopefully the Blazer, Equinox EV, or whatever other cheaper models that GM have are going to be successful, and that they can ramp it up to any significant volumes to where they can start making money off of these things. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, once Tesla enters this cheaper segment, you got a robo-taxi unveil that's going to occur on 10/10. More than likely going to usher in a new wave of products that will not only open up the total addressable market, but anticipate a reimagining of transportation as we know it.
Britton, coming over to you, you added to your Tesla position.
I did. I've really liked to own this name and then sell calls against it because, as we all know, the stock is volatile. There's huge premium. So it was actually my final trade on Friday. I bought Tesla really right here around 229. I sold the November 240s for $19.50.
God damn, whoa! November 240, that is pretty brazen, Bryn. But I mean, September, October, those are kind of like trough months for the stock market. And your boy definitely loves that juicy premium. But I don't think I would have gone any lower than 250. That is some crazy guts right there. Because however many calls that you decide to sell at that juicy premium, should Tesla go to the moon, those things are going to get called away at 240. I suppose you could always buy them back before they expire. But as Bryn mentioned earlier, that volatility in that situation, well, it'll be a
It's around 60 days. Just in that call premium, I'm collecting 8.5%. The stock has a lot of support around 180, 190. It has resistance around 270. And I feel like there's some positive momentum. They obviously have this event in early October where they're going to talk about the vision on the robo-taxis. We'll see what happens with Optimus, as well as that, are they going to actually come out with a smaller car? So I think there's some good upside momentum. And the call premium, to me, was just so outsized. I wanted to add to the position and collect that income.
I'm with you, Bryn. Every time I do sell a call, half of it goes to me adding to my Tesla position without me having to do a damn thing. But 240 by November, I can't stand the heat, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of that kitchen.
What do you make of this call by Morgan Stanley today, reiterating Tesla at overweight, new price target of 310? That's about a 30% upside from where it's trading right now.
I think to get into the 3 handle on the stock, you're going to need to see earnings and revenues. Real revenues are accelerating. You're going to see earnings, I think, accelerate. So we won't know that for a while. So I think the stock is going to continue to trade in the 200s with some upside. But to me, a breakout above 300, you're going to have either they're going to announce the $25,000 car, or we're going to see EV sales. We need to see EV sales pick up in China. I'm not sure about either of those two, so that's why I want to play it with sell calls against that position.
Bryn, China sales are doing pretty damn good right now. Coupled with the fact that TSLA has a mind of its own and doesn't obey any laws of stock market physics, TSLA cracking 300 could happen before your call expires. But in the same breath, the stock could easily experience 52-week lows. But I suppose that's why we do enjoy selling covered calls on this name. The premium is just too good to pass up. In conclusion, the Fed cut 50 basis points, and Jerome Powell gave a pretty good explanation on that. He's kind of worried about that labor market. And while it's in a good place right now, the Fed just doesn't want it to get out of control. Ipso facto, rates have to start coming down. This benefits the automotive industry, including GM, Ford, and to my delight, Tesla. GM expects to incorporate the NACS on their vehicles by 2026. In the meantime, they're going to sell an adapter that costs $225. This would have been something easy for GM to just eat on the matter, but instead they pass the cost on to their consumer, who should probably be thinking, I should have just bought a Model Y, right? Odds are, it'll probably be their next vehicle of choice. And as we approach the 10/10 event from Tesla, about 3 weeks away, it would appear that the company has weathered the worst of what the US economy has to offer. With any luck, by the end of the year, we will start seeing more announcements of Tesla factories being built elsewhere as the world attempts to pull itself out of this economic funk it's been in. Either way, out of all of the automotive companies on the planet, Tesla is the most equipped to handle a rough economic downturn, and they're poised to be the company to benefit the most should economies flourish worldwide. Much like Bryn, I will continue to add to my Tesla position, albeit with a much more conservative strike price. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.